and welcome to Incredible Achievers, Brands and Leaders only on ET Now, the series that tracks the journeys of some of India's most popular brands. The Indian transport industry has been constantly evolving by offering new means of travel to passengers, and one segment that's becoming increasingly popular with urban Indian passengers is that of taxi services. So today we are taking you on a ride with a brand that's offering world-class service in India, and in fact the company today has the largest network of radio cabs in the country. Here's the story of Meru Cabs. You come from an IIM background, you have some great credentials, to your credit. When and how did you join Meru? What was the idea behind coming into this industry?
So I think way back in 2011, when I was looking at this opportunity, I realized that Meru is clearly one of the brand names which has become generic in its category. Huge opportunity. Being run some of the challenging operations in past, I knew that this is one area where operations capabilities is going to be one of the biggest, biggest delivery that would be required.
What would you say is the USP of Meru Cabs? What makes it different from competition?
As our logo says, rely on us. We work on three things. Safety of passengers is most important for us, and whether it is a women passenger, child, elderly passenger. The reliability that we work upon, on-time delivery is a key for us, and that we continuously work upon that. And the third is transparency.
What is the significance of the name Meru? How did that happen?
Well, I don't know if you have known a little bit about Hindu mythology. Meru was the mountain used for churning of the sea during the our mythology, and it was a pillar. It was a mountain of stability, and that's where we got our word Meru. We have, as an organization, followed that. Our dispatch engine is called as Manthan, which is really the churning, and the projects that we run under Manthan are called as Project Amrut.
How does Meru Cabs ensure safety of all its passengers? That's a concern that's really becoming important with respect, considering the incidents that have been happening in the country, even overseas of late.
So I think three things that we are very particular about. First is that the identification of a person who's coming into our system is must. We have thorough background checks, police verification. We have our internal processes to do check of the chauffeur. That is very important. The second thing that we work upon is training of these guys. And I'll give you a very simple example. Most of these guys are migrant workers, so they do not have seen the kind of exposure that is required for them when they come from small cities. So our intent is to train them on a regular basis. Whatever feedback we get from a consumer, we again do a refresher course for them. And the third piece in the safety is the technical features that we have been able to develop.
Are you also planning to link Aadhaar cards of drivers into your verification processes?
Yes, we are, and I think that is going to be the latest thing in this industry. We are working with some of the people in Aadhaar team to really make use of it, and going forward we would also request the regulators if the criminal records of the drivers can be linked to it, so that we have a good quality database generated at a central level.
You have over 14,000 drivers in your system now. Some of them have been here for years. What's the sort of impact that Meru has had on changing some of their lives?
I think two things that I am very proud of is that, and whenever I meet drivers, I really ask them is that, are you making sure that your kids are getting proper education or not? And if not, we as a company believe that we will support whatever needs to be done to make sure that the education happens of the kids.
From the new government, what are your expectations? What are the sort of policy level changes that service providers like you would want?
I think one of the biggest thing that we have been asking the government is that across the globe, public transportations are given much more benefit as compared to your personal transportation. And for a simple reason, the infrastructure load that is brought in by personal transportation is significantly high. If they can give more support to the public transportation system, whether it is in terms of cost, whether it is in terms of operating cost or support system, it will help us to reduce the infrastructure load and will make the life much more easier.
What's the whole concept behind Genie cabs? What was the idea? How did that happen?
So I think we realized that we have been able to create a good brand in the sedan category, but there are another at least 25 to 30 million households who also need to travel in a very safe conditions and safe environment, and that's where we thought if we can bring in a product which is at a price which is marginally premium to auto, then can we deliver and improve the quality of the services of both the chauffeurs as well as the passenger.
As a service provider in the Indian market particularly today, what's your biggest challenge?
I think the biggest challenge is how to ensure continuous good supply of chauffeurs and cars into this system. Yeah, it's a very large market. There are about 1.6 million cars registered as taxi in India. But how do you ensure that these comes into a network, they come into as your service provider and deliver the right quality that is required to be delivered? That is our biggest challenge.
But do you see a market in tier 2 and tier 3 cities in terms of price ranges?
We have already launched in about 4 or 5 tier 2 cities. We have been getting absolutely fabulous response over there and will continue to grow in these cities.
What are some of the business philosophies that you've inculcated at Meru?
3 things that I'm very passionate about it. The first thing is that we should create anything which is for long term. Yeah, in the short term, we may not get the results, but look for things which are important and right for us from the long term perspective. The second thing is very important is for spend as much as time possible with the drivers and consumers to understand what is right for them. Third thing is this is an industry where speed matters, where every minute matters. 24/7, 365 days is where our business happens. So everybody has to be agile and has to deliver on time. So time is an essence.
Over the next couple of years, what's your vision for the company? What can we expect from Meru Cabs in terms of whether it's investment, whether it's new offerings for the consumer?
So I think 2 things that we are very focused about. First is obviously growth. We believe that we being the leader and the pioneer in this segment have to ensure that we grow at a rate which is faster than the market, and we will continue to do that. The second thing that we will continue to work upon is, as the industry is still in a nascent stage, good quality processes, service quality and the safety are going to be very important.
So we invest a lot in training. So whether it is training of our chauffeur partners, so we were the first to actually start a formal classroom training program for our chauffeurs, where we actually take them through 4 specific things. I think one is, many of these people are exposed to quality customer service for the first time. So, we spend a lot of time telling them how to actually behave with consumers, what are the best way to deal with that, what are small etiquette related issues that you need to imbibe first. Second, we also spend a lot of time on defensive driving, so from a safety point of view. So if you're, if you're going, how much distance do you need to keep from the car in front of you? If there were an exigency, how should you react? Those kind of things.
Prevention of rash driving.
That's right. And third is in terms of, the usage of technology, because we are giving, lot of fairly sophisticated devices for them to operate. And fourth, and very importantly, we also do a lot on women's safety. in terms of how the chauffeurs should behave when there are women passengers, what are the kind of expectation when there's a lady passenger sitting in the car. So one element is training, and that is not just for chauffeurs, it's equally for our employees. I think we invest a lot in training to keep them up to date on technology, keep them up to date on processes, and make sure that we are able to provide a good quality consumer service.
How do you maintain consistency in quality of service?
So I think again, this is where the combination of technology and processes actually make a big difference. So we, in addition to customer service, we have a dedicated customer service team, which is actually looking at making sure that every customer complaint that comes in is quickly and efficiently addressed. So that's one part. Second is we spend equal and more time in terms of prevention. So to make sure that we get the good quality customer service. So whether it is quality inspection, inspection of cabs, inspection of drivers, making sure that you are actually doing what you are expected to do from a process point of view. These are the kind of things that we invest a fair amount of time and energy on, both from an automated point of view and also supplementing it with processes. So for instance, we have a fairly large team out in the field which carry out inspections of cars. We make sure that these cars actually go to workshops to make sure that they are technically up to date in terms of good quality cars are maintained and things like that. So I think these things help us to ensure that we are able to give good quality service.
And as far as employees are concerned, what's the kind of work culture and environment that you have at Meru?
I think, or at least I would like to believe, that this is a very, very exciting industry. I mean, it is an industry which is very dynamic. It is an industry where there are a lot of things which are changing on a day-to-day basis. So I think a fairly exciting environment is one. Second, I think fairly high energy. And also, I think we're relatively, I would say semi-formal. So it's not that we don't, we don't have hierarchies and we have good quality information and all that. But I think people work in a fairly collegiate fashion to make sure that we are able to deliver what we expect.
And what's your target clientele today?
There are at least 22 to 25 million households who have a household income of more than 2.5 to 3 lakh rupees. Almost every one of them has, I would say, 8 to 10 occasions when they can use a car. Effectively, that is our consumer base who we can reach out to, and this is a huge, huge consumer base, which is why we believe there's a very exciting category.
Indeed, Meru's dedicated efforts to see happy consumers and happy employees are making it one of the most sought-after cab operators in India today. Let's take a short break at this point. On the other side, we'll explore the key growth drivers of the company, its innovative technology that's driving its operations, and Meru's strategic marketing moves. You're watching Incredible Achievers, Brands and Leaders only on ET Now. Welcome back to Incredible Achievers, Brands and Leaders only on ET Now. Before the break, we witnessed the inspiring success story of one of India's leading radio cab operators, Meru Cabs. Let's now explore another key element of the company's growth, its innovative technology. It's the technology that's keeping its passengers safe and is taking brand Meru on a speedy ride to success. You've been with Meru Cabs right from the very beginning. Tell us a little bit about how technology has evolved in this whole transport business over the years.
We were the pioneer in the usage of GPS and GPRS based call taxis, dispatch systems. We built our own in-house dispatch systems, which actually could do thousands of bookings, automatically dispatching without any human intervention. And over a period of time, we have migrated from this technology usage to actually leveraging the data and the power of analytics. We use big data. We have data over last 7 years So we use that very effectively into predictive analytics, into statistical analytics to build new algorithms, improve the efficiencies, improve the customer service.
And what sort of a role is technology playing at Meru Cabs for passenger safety?
Safety is very important, and other than the GPS and GPRS based tracking in each cab and every trip, we have introduced a few more features which we think actually will help into improving the safety, and especially for women passengers. So one of them is trip tracker service, where any customer can put in one number, and that person will get the details of the cab, location of the cab every 15 minutes throughout the journey from beginning till end. Other service which we have added is called ICE, which is in case of emergency a panic button in our mobile app, where any two predefined numbers will get the location of the person. They can track it on map for 30 minutes when somebody presses that button, and which also gives a alarm to the person who receives it.
Tell us a little bit about the mobile cab wallet that you've launched. What's that all about?
So the customer needs a very seamless experience at the end of the journey. Cash has its own challenges with change and carrying around the cash. So we wanted to give a feature where customer can pay through alternate mechanism than cash. So that's why we launched a prepaid wallet, which customer can fill up that wallet at the beginning of the journey or like at his own convenience, and at the end of the journey he can simply walk out of the car. It's a zero touch checkout.
While you have this whole modern technology transforming the whole transport sector today, do you think it's essential for companies to also retain a human contact with customers?
There are things like routine things like booking a cab, where I think customers are quite okay now, going with self-service options. They are quite willing to book a cab on their own through a mobile app or through website. But when it comes to if there are any issues during the journey, or like if there is any emergency, that customer definitely prefer talking to a human. So you cannot do away with a human interface, and that's quite essential to build a strong relationship with the customer.
Meru has many firsts to its credit. It was India's first real-time cab booking portal. How did that happen, and how much of work went into really making that a reality?
So back in 2010, we saw customers were open to doing booking on their own, self-service bookings, rather than having to call the call center. And we leveraged that. We completely redesigned our website with a focus on booking a cab, and we gave very, very fast experience to consumer where he can book a cab within 1 minute, and we saw a significant drive of customers to move to website rather than calling a call center. And this also then made us think about building those web mobile applications which customer can use on the go.
What are the sort of marketing initiatives that you've undertaken to build Meru as a brand?
We've done a few things which have really worked for us. The first one has been to, how do we get new consumers into the category? And there we came up with this concept of happy hours. So most people would take, a Meru to go to work or to go to the airport or for some official purpose, which happens during mornings, and then again there's a peak in the evenings. So we came up with this concept of happy hours, which actually got a lot of college students, housewives, a totally different category of audiences to try out a product, because that was available only from 10 a.m. to 4 in the afternoon. So that was one. The second thing what we have done, again, to get a different segment of consumers in, was we tied up with Flipkart for the Big App Day. And that allowed us to reach a very, very different kind of audience who would otherwise not have experienced a Meru. And we, all they had to do was, and the offer was only available on the app. So you actually had to use the Meru Cabs app, and then you got a first trial gen offer, and that has done extremely well.
So what sort of initiatives are you undertaking to promote the Meru app and, really leverage the digital medium for the brand?
At Meru, we are very clear that, we're a digital business. And we have a very strong product in the app. It's a great app. To our existing consumer base, every time that you take a trip, we say, the next time, why don't you try out the app, and here's a special offer for you. And that's, conversion of our existing consumer base is one way that we, get consumers to try out our app. The second thing what we do is, which has worked very well for us, is partnerships. So I mentioned Flipkart. We also have a similar partnership with ICICI Bank, where we've got a special offer out for the ICICI Bank users, and that is available only on the app and the web. So we're working with like-minded brands, large brands, and leveraging the power of these brands to bring a unique consumer value proposition.
There are a number of marketing techniques available in the market today. What's worked best for Meru?
Right now what we are focused on is creating some amount of awareness, getting a lot of trials, getting the consumer to move on onto digital and more, and the app, because the app actually makes the consumer experience really, really seamless. You can see how far a cab is. You can book it with one touch. You can track your trip. You can, pay through a consumer wallet.
So going forward, what is the sort of branding and marketing exercise that we can expect from Meru?
So we're looking at a bunch of different things. Like I said, digital is a very strong part of what we are doing. And there's a whole range of things that we're doing on social, on CRM, on stuff like loyalty as one part. The second thing what we are doing is in terms of launching new markets, where we run campaigns to build awareness, get trial generation going, get basically sampling of our product. We're also looking at other more thematic kind of campaigns and so on, but that's all in 2015.
हमको सबसे अच्छा वही लगता है कि इनका एक तो कॉल सेंटर का है, कॉल सेंटर से बुकिंग हुआ, दूसरा हमको मैसेज मिल जाता है, मैसेज मिल गया, हमको मतलब कहीं भटकना नहीं, इधर उधर की पैसेंजर देखना है, करना कुछ नहीं, बुकिंग हुआ घर पे गए, एड्रेस पे पहुँचे, पिकअप किए, जहाँ जाना है उनको ड्रॉप किए.
So I've been using Meru for the past 5 years, and over the 5 years I've found it to be a very trustworthy and a very good brand. Amongst my friends and family, that's the preferred brand that we have. The cars are very reliable, the drivers are very efficient and courteous, so I find the service very good.
Meru Cabs clocked an annual turnover of 424 crore rupees last year. Growing at a rapid pace, the company is present in 13 Indian cities and is eyeing expansion into 35 cities in the next few years. With a strong focus on passenger safety, Meru Cabs expects to leap ahead of competition, not just in earning profits, but in winning consumer trust as well. Indeed, winning customer trust is perhaps the single most important factor that can drive a brand ahead in this highly competitive segment. That was the inspiring story of Meru Cabs, a premium cab service that has many firsts to its credit. That's all we have on today's episode. Next time, we'll explore yet another incredible brand of India and make you meet the men and women behind it. Till then, it's goodbye.